What's up, everybody? We're back. I'm George Mossey. I'm here with my co-host, Marshana Dahlia. So last night, 90 Day Fiance, before the 90 days, season 5, episode 14. This is part 2 of the podcast. So let's talk about Mike and Amina. So last night, we saw Amina tell her mom, finally, what's really going on with her and Mike, because, well, actually, her sister is the one that actually told her, because she was going to still lie. Because she was like, oh, why are you guys not sleeping in the same room? She's like, oh, I don't know. And Amina's sister is like, look, this is what's really going on. They're not getting along. She can't stand to be around them. And Mike has a conversation with Amina's mom, and she tells him, oh, well, she's never really had a serious relationship before, which is kind of a strange thing because she has 2 kids and she was just in a relationship right before her and Mike started talking. So I don't know if I really believe that. And she confirmed that in the car ride to the pool hall, like, that's a lie. I've had several relationships. This is just what happens when I get bored. So Mike finally is seeing what's going on. And after they play pool, he finally questions her and he's like, look, I want to know why you're treating me differently. This whole trip, you've been treating me like I'm a problem. You don't want to be around me. You don't think that I should be in your life. And she's like, if you can't see it by now, like, I don't know what else, it is to tell you. I can't deal with things about you. And he says, I think it's about money. And she's like, it's not about money. You still pay my rent. So if it was about money, I would have called it off a long time ago. And I think it is about money, but I think it's also about tolerance. I think that she was tolerating him, and him being in New York and sending her money, that was something that she could tolerate. But him constantly being there, this is the second trip in a very short amount of time, and he's kind of inserting himself into her life. And I feel like that was the last straw. She didn't have it in her to tolerate this much of him in this short amount of time. And she finally told him, look, we're just going to be friends. I don't want to be with you anymore. And Mike said that he wants to take back all of the stuff that he bought, which I don't know how you could go about taking back furniture internationally. I don't know how that would work, but do you think that it's really over? Do you think that they're done?
I know that Jimena is done, okay? And I'm on Jimena's side. I've said that for the longest time. Like, she has said before that she didn't love him, that he's gross. And, even when she brought it up last night, like him just kind of being a little bit repulsive, she brought these things to his attention. It's not like it's a surprise. I don't know what else she would have to do to get rid of him. Like, just leave me alone. When he said, hey, I want to take back everything, she was like, take it, fine. As long as it's over. I just need this to be done. He's probably really intolerable and grossly insufferable. Let's remember, he was farting on her while kissing her. He wanted to throw a snotty tissue on the floor of a taxi cab. This is a man who is repulsive in terms of his body behavior. He's blaming diagnoses of ADHD and things like that. And it's just like she's had enough. And he is the one who has been holding on, even though she's told him, friends have told him. So at this point, yeah, Jimena, I want her to fleece him. If he sticks around, I want her to really run through his pockets, because he's not getting the lesson, and she must benefit from being tortured in this way by this guy who will not leave her the hell alone. Okay, an exchange is not a robbery. So if he is going to constantly, just even like when they were playing pool, she's like, don't follow me, don't follow me, don't follow me.
Yes.
And he's not getting it. He's never going to get it. Just like, go home. Like, he shouldn't have even been there. His friend told him to leave. So everything that's happening right now, I don't think she's being cold. I think she's like, he can't get the hint. I've said it before, so let me say it again, and let me be very clear with my words.
See, I agree with you. I agree. I feel like Amina is not the type of woman that is emotional. I feel like she's almost like has the demeanor of how men are. If I said I love you, I don't need to say it every day. If I say that I want to be with you, I don't need to say it every day. It's unspoken with her. And Mike is the opposite. Mike needs to feel love. Mike needs to be cuddled with. And he follows her around, and he wants her to say, like, if after pool, he's like, wasn't this fun, us just being together? Like, he needs that reassurance. And I think Jimena is just not that type of woman. She doesn't need reassurance from a man, and she definitely doesn't want to give reassurance to a man. She is, if I said it, that's what I meant. And I think Mike has to find a woman who can cater to that what he needs. He needs to be reassured. He needs to be told how much he how important he is to that person over and over and over. And there are people that does work with. There are women who need to be told that they're beautiful every single day, multiple times a day. And there are men who need to be told you're an amazing provider every single day. And I feel like when that's the issue, you have to find the person that fits that mold with you, and then it'll work perfectly. And I feel like this just isn't a mold that works. Amina can't cater to Mike, and Mike has to just accept the fact that even though he spent a lot of money trying to make this work, it's never gonna work. And she's made it clear. And if he doesn't leave this time and he does anything else, like you said, this is all on Mike at this point. This is all on him. She's been super transparent, super clear. And if he gives her one more dime, that is his fault 100%, because she's made it clear. Take your stuff and be gone. Bye. Be gone. All right, so let's talk about my favorite part of the episode last night. So after he decides to skip breakfast, which he didn't know her parents were there and they wanted to meet him, which backfired on him because the parents felt disrespected. Even though he didn't know they were there, they felt disrespected because he was disrespecting their daughter by saying he was going to be somewhere and not showing up. So he convinces her to ask them to meet him alone, which I found really creepy, because he was like, oh, I want to talk to his parents, and if I can get to her parents, they'll convince her to give it a shot with me. Super creepy, super weird stuff. Like, if you feel like you need to tell her parents, she's too young, bro. Like, she's too young. If you think that her parents are the influence of what she needs to be doing, that's insane. And then the fact that he was looking forward to having a 4-hour mandatory conversation with her in the car back was also really creepy to me. She denied talking to him at the table when she brought the letter from her dad saying that he wouldn't be there. She said, I didn't even want to be here. You know, I'm doing this for my dad, bringing the letter. And then he's like, oh, well, tomorrow I have to talk to her. So because she drove here, I'm going to force this conversation. You can't force conversations on people. And I don't know what planet Ben is from, where you can force someone to get in the car with you and force someone to listen to your side. If someone doesn't want to hear what you have to say, they do not have to hear what you have to say.
You know, here's the thing. Mahogany made a great point that she's the younger person in this relationship. She's the 22-year-old, and Ben is 50 plenty, acting like a child. Okay, so I support her. He said he sent her 10 pages of text messages. How do you even respond to that in a text message? You don't send 10 pages of text messages. Everything is not a text conversation. He could have easily gone to bed that night, she gone to bed, and in the next morning when they both saw each other for breakfast, he could have then said these things. Why would you send somebody 10 pages of text messages? That shows me that as an adult, you don't understand how to use the multiple forms of communication that we have available. So I think that's poor communication on his behalf to send it via text. Then he's petty and childish. So he's like, oh, because she didn't answer me when I just like vomited into text messages and sent it to her, then I'm not going to show up for breakfast. And then granted, he didn't know that the parents were going to be there. But when he found out that the parents were going to be there, how far is it for you to leave your room and come down to the breakfast? It's not a great distance. It's not a drivable distance. It would have been like, oh shit, I was being petty. I was trying to get under her skin, which he kind of sort of maybe admitted, like, hey, I was just trying to get like a whatever out of her. And, you know, get his ass downstairs and see and talk to her parents if it meant that much to you. Sending a request to talk to the parents without Mahogany when they've already taken their time to be here for breakfast, whether it was a surprise to you or not, you knew that I was here and you could have easily come down, and you chose to be petty. So here, you know what? We're not showing up to your one-on-one meeting where you're going to try and do what? Badmouth our daughter or convince us to let you be with our daughter when you blew us off already? Why do I make more time for you? And listen, we all saw the video footage of the ride down. It was terrible. It was terrible. Mahogany was reaching for something that she had to talk to him about Jesus because she know he's a crazy, Jesus person. So she was like, let me talk to him about that to make the ride, somewhat tolerable. So she was like, you know what? Being that you want to no-show on me all the time and my parents, and it was like being in prison, riding down here with you, I'm going to leave. You're a big guy. You made your way to my town all on your own when I told you not to come. If you can do that, you can find your way back to San Bartolo. You could figure it out. Okay? Go ahead. And I'm a little bit disappointed because in the previews for next week, we see Ben and Mahogany together. And I'm like, it just reminds me of when they were in some island in the Philippines and Rose was with Ed. And Ed had tried her for the last time and Rose left that island. We never saw Rose again until the tell-all. And the producers were probably like trying to get another meeting, trying to get something else to happen. And Rose held her ground and we didn't see her again. I was hoping that Mahogany was going to keep that energy and be like, I left. I don't care how much the producers call me. I don't care how much they try to get me to meet with this crazy fool, immature 50+ fool. I'm not doing it. But that's not what happened. But I'm hoping she gives him the riot act,
I'm assuming when they meet again, it's going to be to end it. I can't imagine what.
Why do I need
left.
to meet with you to end it? It's already over. It's called the breakup because it's broken.
I don't understand what they have to talk about. They don't even have anything in common. Like you said, there's no conversations to be had. They can't even hold a conversation. I don't know why she would be meeting with him again. We're going to have to watch to see. And it's 2 episodes left. So I'm going to assume that they meet and hopefully they break up. But I don't know. This season has thrown a lot of curveballs for me because Gino and Jasmine are engaged. And Memphis and Hamza are married. So a lot has happened that I already said was never going to happen. So we're just going to have to keep watching and see what happens. This is an insane season. All right, that's it for part 2, guys. So we're going to come back next week and live tweet with you guys and talk about whatever happens and whatever these couples decide to do next. So we're going to catch up with Mike in a minute and Ben and Mahogany and the whole gang next week. Make sure you live tweet with us and we'll talk to you guys really soon.